right? It's Tuesday night at 8 o'clock and just getting started. Denise usually does the intro. Sorry.
We decided to let
Wasn't really
Neil do it
prepared.
today. No, I was busy. I'm busy waiting till we pop up. Let me get my chat going. See what we got. People we got here. Uh,
It's Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
oh, you gotta turn the volume down. There we
Yeah.
go. Public chat. Hey guys, who's here? I think my I think it's just a time my Chinese food is arriving too, so I'll eat that later. So it's Tuesday in the world, and so what's going on?
So, obviously anybody wants to join in, feel free to ask questions or put some love in the chat for us. Let us know that you're here and that you participating. Crazy time, as much as, I was pointing out to people today, the world is changing so much on a daily basis.
So
I wake up
rapidly.
I wake up every day and I go, so what fresh hell have I woken up to today? And needless to say, there's always something. But we spent a lot of time on some national stuff, and there's some local shit actually going on now. and
Oh
and I
no.
don't mean to laugh. It's just it's like unbelievable to me that this is sort of where we are, right? As my chair is now rolling away from me. I don't know why. Very odd. But you know, there in local news, it just came out today. I'm gonna flash it up on the screen for us. All right. As this is really interesting. Um, So the Walden village manager, who also is a county legislator, right, has been indicted for tax evasion.
Oh
This is
shit.
apparently breaking news.
Oh my
You know,
god. And
between
he's a lawyer.
2019, yeah, between 2019 and 2022, apparently had around $1 million. Allegedly had $1 million in unreported income.
Revenue.
Yeah,
Ooh.
revenue. Wow. You know.
You would think they oh, is he a Democrat? That's probably why they're pressing
No, he's
charges.
a Republican.
Oh, you figured they would have let him get away with it. Uh,
I listen, when you're talking about taxes, you're talking about the feds.
yeah.
So that's a different animal, and who knows, but it's very interesting. I would really kind of I want to wait to see what the evidence is. Um, just in for full transparency, I do know John. Um, and it'll be very interesting to kind of see what the next step is. Only because of the fact that he holds two public office positions. He is the
Two.
city manager. Yeah, he is the city manager of um, the village of Walden, and
Okay.
he is the county legislator for their area as well.
Oh, hold on. My
So
phone is ring. I have to take this quick call.
Denise, you're killing me. We're live. Um, yeah, but I think that from the
Oh,
standpoint of,
you're.
I'd be interested in hear what the public thinks
I'm
about
sorry.
this.
Hello.
Since he does hold two public
Yes.
office positions, do you think he should be allowed to um, continue to serve, or whether he should step down? I know that there was a lot of talk recently about another public official who is in court now who decided not to step down. And he had allegedly shot or he did shoot a DoorDash driver. So the real question is um what will happen with Mr. Ravel? You know, so you know time will tell, and it'll be interesting. But not to think everybody think that I'm one sided versus the other side. There's also news about a Democrat as well in the county legislature. All right. Now I'm going to share this as well. Um, the legislative chair, right, Lori Tatel, apparently is being accused of shoving an employee of the county.
Is this recent or
So
something in the past?
this is fairly recent. This has happened last week. So, and this has been coming out, and obviously, the Republicans um, are talking, behind the scenes. They've been very public about disciplinary action against her. I don't know, what's happening and how it's being investigated. I did find out some information tonight, which I found was very interesting. That people might find interesting. So the investigation is being conducted by Orange County Human Resources. All
Okay.
right. So the name
So
might
they're
sound
investigating.
familiar. Hold on, the name might sound familiar to you, right? It's it's Langdon. It's the director Langdon is the one
No.
investigating. So that name might sound familiar, right? Because he used to be the counsel for the Orange County for the county as well, legal counsel. He moved into his HR role. He had gotten into a little trouble back in the day when Scoofus did his public announcement, okay, regarding the contract. So there was a contract that the county entered into for IT services. It just happened to be Langdon's brother-in-law that got the contract, and it was close to, I want to say, over $760,000 that they paid for a
Wow.
position that they said they couldn't fill for $120,000. Okay, I don't know how you get from $120,000 to $760,000, but
Mm.
somehow that happened. I don't even know what happened to it, but there was talk of, like, misappropriation of funds, and that the county overspent for the contract, and that the county, and what services did the county receive, right? I haven't seen, and nobody has shared with the public where that investigation landed. I know at one point in time it was being investigated by higher authorities.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know what happened with that, but it was very interesting because the Democrats on the legislature, right, for which Lori Tatel was one of those Democrats, all stood with Scoofus, in calling out this contract. And now, right, so now all of a sudden the person investigating, right, the county legislator, right, is the same person who was involved in this contract. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but hopefully I did. Hopefully people got that and understood the gist of it, right? But you can't make this shit up. It's
No.
like, what goes around, and this is sort of the thing in politics. What goes around comes around, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, people get in these positions, and you go after one, they go after you, and you see what happens.
Oh
Does
God.
that mean that the investigation won't be fair? I don't know. You know, I would kind of think maybe that Langdon should recuse himself and allow a subordinate to investigate, or maybe somebody else to investigate, or maybe get
That
an
would make
independent
sense.
investigator, right? But so it's very interesting, and I'm not saying it's not true. Again, I don't know if the allegations are true or not, right? I believe what happened. I just don't know the circumstances of how it happened or whatever. I can say from my standpoint, you don't ever lay hands on another on an employee. You just don't.
Right.
Okay. And so but
Do
I
you
I think
know her
people need to wait.
personally? do you
Lori?
know her? Yeah.
Yes, I've met her a few times, yes.
I mean, does
You
she
know.
seem like a person who has a short temper that would do that?
Again, I don't know the circumstances,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not going to like speculate as to what the circumstances were, right? Like, I mean, you could think of a whole mess of things, right? Like, I've been a part of these type of things, right? A lot of times what the public is being told isn't necessarily what happened,
Oh,
right?
of course.
You
Of
know,
course not.
like you ever watch the you ever watch the TV show Seinfeld back in the day,
Yes. Yes.
right? You remember how Elaine used to always push George? Like she used to shove him, right? And he used to like fall like in the back, but it was like playful, right?
Right,
And I'm
right.
not saying that that's the way it was, but nobody knows. You don't know what intent, you don't know what the circumstances were, right? All that should be investigated and brought to light as to exactly what it was. Again, you know, everybody is has should have their day in court. But
I agree with that.
just like I said with legislator Ravel, right? I said the same thing with him. He has to have his day in court. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it's true the allegations that are being made. Um, it is an indictment, so who knows? But it's interesting. Like a lot of drama happening in Orange County, right at the beginning of the new legislative term. That's all I got to say. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, it's interesting. Speaking of local, our Congressman Pat Ryan held a telephone town hall just a couple of hours ago, um, and the topic of the status of what's going on in Chester with the Chester facility was brought up, and it looks like for now it's been held off, but it's because of I guess you mentioned it. He didn't mention the turtles, but you said something about turtles, that there's some turtles over there, and that's what it's an environmental impact. But he did point to the fact that there are some things that can be done legislatively to also help to fight back. And I understand he mentioned that maybe it's in the town or in the village is looking to put forth legislature, most likely regarding the environmental issues, especially with regard to sewer, water and sewer, for having 1,500 people in a freaking warehouse with no toilet. But he said
I
that.
believe the village filed stuff about that. I don't know if they passed any laws yet on that. I
He,
don't think they did.
Yeah, he said they were still working on passing some laws.
Yeah.
And I understand he also said that the governor should get involved. The governor can get involved, but he wasn't really specific on what she should do. But really, we really should petition the governor for
We
putting
did.
forth. And what did
We
she
did.
do? Nothing, right?
I mean, like, listen, this is freaking New York, man. That's all I gotta say. This is freaking New York. I mean, the governor was like, this state has more money in it, right, than any other state. I mean, we have the third, like I think what is it, the third or fifth largest economy in the world is in New York, right?
Not
And you
no
have and you
California. You're thinking is fourth, so we're behind California because that's the
I know
large.
that we're in like the top 10, right? Right, but she was like on TV the other day holding a press conference begging people from North Carolina to move back to New York. Right, like seriously, like don't like that to me is completely gaslighting the public into Bruce Blankman's narrative, right? That people moved out of New York, right? Who were billionaires and billionaires didn't move out of New York and go to North Carolina. You know who went to North Carolina? Like retired teachers, retired police officers, right? That's who goes to North Carolina. Your billionaires didn't go to North Carolina, okay? She's just completely gaslighting the public so that she can avoid instituting a wealth tax or a higher rate income tax. That's all she's doing. I'm like really just sick and tired of it.
And again, I think we brought it up here. The state of Washington instituted a wealth tax, and it was the public cheered. I think it's what is it? It's either 6 or 9% for a wealth tax in the state of Washington. It's actually a good size wealth tax, and in truth, that's what governors need to do, because the Fed isn't going to do it, and these tax cuts, we're being hit over the head with everything, and so we need to get revenue back to help the states, because we're not going to get it from the Fed. So this is how it's got to be done. So you want to live in America? What state? You're going to have to pay a freaking wealth tax.
It's not you, right? Like you're talking about the top 1% of your state. Like you're not even talking. Like this
I
isn't
know
everybody. Can we like stop portraying? We all need to stop saying you and portraying it. Them,
them.
they need to pay more, right? Like they need to pay more. End of story. Like I'm like really sick and tired of like people making it sound like we're freaking billionaires. I'm not a freaking billionaire. I'm a
No.
worker, right? Like I'm a worker bee. I just work. That's it. I
Mm-hmm.
work and I earn like these people don't work. Like I'm sorry to say that. I know everybody thinks like these people don't work anymore. Okay? They're billionaires. They're earning all their money via passive income. Like enough, right? And
There. Let me
Kristen
post.
had some comments here.
Let me go.
Uh,
I'll
the, the,
show it
the,
again.
yeah, she said in Westchester, Barcliffe Manor has some issues with the Democrat Peter Chatsky. Social media is resurfacing with posts which demonstrate the person's moral character. He is apparently running against Mike Lawler in Rockland County area for that
As if
district.
Mike Lawler has a wonderful character. That schmuck.
Um, Zoom money, right? So here's sort of the thing. All right, Mike Lawler has about a dozen opponents in the Democratic side. I don't really think we need to be concerned about Peter Chatsky. Right, I don't even think he's leading in the polls. I think that I know Ryan endorsed a woman, and then there's another woman running out there, and then there's another guy running against. I mean, they have like a million people. Um,
Raising money for a
Bezos,
warehouse?
I know
Really?
Bezos. Well, wants to do the warehouse in Wawayanda. I don't know if there's another warehouse that she's talking about there. Um,
I think it's already being built. I mean, I went past, like, right, if you go on Shut Road, which I think it changes names as it gets to the other end of town.
Town Road. No, that's a
Dawson
different
Town.
warehouse. That's a different
Oh,
warehouse.
have you seen that? One wall is up and it is tall. It is
Yeah,
very
I
tall.
think that's a different warehouse. That's not that warehouse. I think it's a different warehouse.
How many freaking warehouses do we need? They're all fucking empty. It's it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah, I
And
mean, listen, it's absolutely it's absolutely nuts. I mean, we need to we need to tax our state appropriately. We have basically a flat tax now in New York, and it doesn't really work for New York. And what we're seeing is every municipality, and the state itself is upside down with its finances, and enough's enough. We have to get our finances in order.
yeah, just like we do in our local town. Um,
Right.
you need to do it on the big end.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Right? Like I mean we're still seeing, we're still seeing the dumb criticisms, right? So there was a new one out today apparently um criticizing the supervisor for returning a bond, a town bond to a developer, right? So it's the dumbest comment ever. Like it talked about how like the supervisor was returning a bond but not being transparent about who it was going back to. Can we be clear about one thing? And this is what I find is so stupid that people don't understand. Your local government, right, manages escrow money, just like
Right.
attorneys manage escrow money. That money is not yours. That money is theirs. Okay? They give you money in case they break shit. Okay? Is really what it comes down to. Okay? So if they're building something, okay, they might give you money, they might get a bond, whatever it may be, okay? Right? Sometimes they give you a bond, like give you the cash and they want you to hold it and it's considered a cash bond. Sometimes they want you to
Yeah.
sometimes they'll go out and bond it themselves and just give you the bond, right? Like whatever it is, okay? At the end of the day, that is not your money to spend. I know that the previous administration loves spending money that wasn't theirs, okay? But that isn't your money, okay? So when the attorneys and the engineers get together and they say the work is complete, you have to give back the bond, you have to give back the bond. It's not your money, okay? All right. I saw the post, right, like where like he's being critical of the town giving back a bond. Well, it's not your money. You have to give back the bond. Otherwise, people go to jail for that shit. Because now you're stealing somebody else's money. Like this either shows me because I know, like as I said, this is the former councilman, right? The guy was on the board for 30 fucking years, and he doesn't know this. Or is he trying to
Hey,
sell you on his bullshit? Which is it? You know?
you
Like
know what it is.
it's just stupid shit.
Oh,
So
yes.
right,
Kristen.
so okay. Yes. You want to announce what Kristen just posted?
Yes, Democrats win a special election in a Florida district that Mar-a-Lago is in. I
For a
think that is
statewide
all.
house seat. It's a statewide house seat. It's the first time that the statewide house seat had flipped for Mar-a-Lago had flipped from Republican to Democrat. First time the
That is
Democrats have won one
awesome.
seat.
Oh my God, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
He must
So
be shitting in his pants if he can remember
oh,
what
he
he's
shits
talking.
in his pants every day, no matter what. I mean,
All right.
listen, that's just the guy wears fucking diapers. I mean, whatever. This is the fucking country we live in.
This is the
Your
country we live
president
in.
wears diapers. He's shitting in his pants.
He's
He's
having imaginary conversations with people he's at war with.
listen. He goes on. He's like, oh, I talked with a former president who was himself. Like I mean, like the guy is completely deranged now at this point in time. Who the fuck knows? He's probably out there, saying that he's going to use the U.S. military to bomb gas stations that refuse to lower prices for Americans, right? I mean, that's how dumb this shit has become. That's how dumb the whole shit has become.
Oh, and also the oops, nope, sorry. Oh, now I gotta wait for that. Where is it? There it
She is
is.
a woman. Yeah.
She is, she is a woman. Oh
Emily
God,
Gregory.
Emily Gregory. Congratulations, Emily Gregory. Pretty nice. So despite some Democrats not being popular with Democrats, they're still winning in special elections. Um, I want to mention I saw a clip today on Kyle Kulinski's show. Um, Graham Plattner was interviewed by CNN, and he gave such a great response with regard to he was there, he was in Washington, trying to advocate for we got to end this war, and and against the $200 billion that they want that they're trying to get from Congress for more of this war stuff. And the CNN guy sort of, how they sort of frame these questions to trap him.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. It is like, oh, don't you want to, support our troops? He's like, I support the troops. So you want to support the troops? Take them home. Bring them home. You know, they shouldn't be there.
But that's the mentality. See, this is what I find so disingenuous about politicians. All right, this is what is so disingenuous about politicians. Okay, is the idea that they're trying to sell you something. Okay,
Every
right?
moment.
This is what is in the best interest of our troops. No, not fighting the war in the first place would have been the best interest of our troops. Okay? Not sending them there is in the best interest of our troops, right? And ensuring that we have veterans health care when they return is in the best interest of our troops. Ensuring that they can find homes and jobs is in the best interest of our troops, right? But that's not what they care about because they funded none of those things. I've said it a million fucking times, right? And I will say it, the values of a society are what they are willing to spend money on. The money for that they are spending on this war is all going to defense contractors. That is it.
That's
None of it
it.
is going towards our troops. Remember, when our troops get sent overseas, their stipends get cut. When they get deployed, their stipends get cut.
Really?
Okay? Yeah. Because they're not here. They don't have to buy shit anymore. Everything's provided for them.
That's really shitty. And they're not getting that much to begin with.
I mean, we're not talking about pay. We're talking about stipends. So they get pay and
Stipends,
then they
right.
get stipends. Yeah. Yeah. So they don't get those stipends when they get shipped overseas. And they get cut if you have family. So your family could be here and all of a sudden because is overseas, right? This isn't taking care of our troops. This isn't taking care of Americans, right? And these politicians have never been about taking care of Americans. They love talking the rhetoric, right? And they love selling you on something. But you know what? Two things can be true at the same time, okay? It can be true that you don't want to fund a war, a forever war, that you shouldn't have been in the first place, and you support your troops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both things can be true at the same time. Just like you could say you feel bad for the family of Lake and Riley, right? Like you could feel bad for the family of Lake and Riley, and that should never have happened in the first place, but also realize that the bill that they passed is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Okay? You can think both things because both things are true. Okay? And I find it really disingenuous when our politicians like Mike Lawler and others go out there and sell you on bullshit.
Well,
because that's what they're selling you on.
Yeah, yeah. That I believe that one of the worst parts of that bill is that it loosens up the Fourth Amendment, right? Isn't that what we were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It basically nullifies the Fourth Amendment. And it hasn't been challenged yet, but it's coming up in court documents. So my feeling is it's going to move up, right? And it's really scary. Like this is scary shit. Like these guys, they think about this, okay? That was one incident, and they did a whole bill. They spent millions of dollars on a bill, okay, stripping Americans, and yes, it is Americans, of more rights. Okay, yet the Epstein files come out, and you haven't seen one bill addressing that, right? Where is the bill? We're going to tax our billionaires in this country because they have a little bit too much money on their hands. I'm sorry, they weren't creating jobs with their tax breaks.
Oh no,
they were raping and murdering children. Okay,
absolutely.
So
yeah,
it's time. Like, listen, you're going to abuse our generosity. We're going to take it back. Right? That's the way it works. Where is the bill that says that you cannot, if you were involved with Epstein, all right, until it's been adjudicated, you cannot have a government contract. You cannot make money off of the government.
Yeah, where is the accountability?
Right. Why are we still subsidizing as taxpayers the Epstein class? Why? Right? Like,
Oh,
I
because
want to know
they're controlling our government right now.
right. And then the last one is if you are involved with that group, right? The Epstein class group, right? I want to know where is the you're not allowed to manage public funds money, right? Pension plan money. Okay? So we should be taking away all their means of income through government taxpayer funded dollars so that they can't rape and abuse children. Like, I mean, what the fuck? Like, seriously. Like, that to me should be a no fucking brainer, right? Like, that should be our starting point.
Our
Why?
it,
Why?
this
We're sitting here like discussing Lake and Riley, but like, what the fuck? Like, right there, 3 bills. Very simple, easy.
See, you need see Neil for president. But it's yeah, insider trading too. All of this. Well, see, that's a lot of what's going on here, right? So what happened yesterday? We started out the day with I don't know. It's pretty much whatever Trump puts on his tweets. You would think by now the markets would know that whatever he says is bullshit, and it's just to move the market up to and back down again. Right? And we saw, I guess yesterday was Monday, today's Tuesday. My God, I'm losing track of the days at this point. Yeah, we watched the market like shoot up, and then more information came out, and he put another tweet. Well, maybe it wasn't so great. Maybe we're not talking, and then the market comes down, and he still claims to be talking. That's what happened. He claimed that he was talking about ending the war with whoever was with the leader, what the interim leader is right now in Iran, and then like a half an hour later, they put up a post on their X account. Was like, the hell is he talking about? We're not talking to him. Like, and then all of a sudden the market goes back down again. And then today he's still having these conversations with Iran. We're coming up with a big deal. Everything's a big deal. And they're like posting the guy is off his rocker. He hasn't
No,
spoken to us.
what did I say the other day? What did I say the other day? I said, what did I say about profit? Profit has become exploitative in nature. Okay.
Yes.
And the idea is government is no longer about, right, and corporations too, they're no longer about finding solutions to long-term problems, right, and actually helping people to achieve, right. What we are seeing is exploitative profit, right, the idea of profiting off of somebody else suffering, right, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're doing. Okay. And this is what government has now become, and not for nothing. Okay, because I saw this pointed out. You look at the red states. The red states in this country are at the bottom of education. They're at the bottom of social programs. They're at the bottom of revenue. They're at the they have the highest crime rates. They have the highest murder rates. Right, like, this is who we're putting in charge of the country, and it has everything to do with the fact that there is nobody in those states talking about programs that the blue states have.
And so they
Okay,
don't want they get angry at us for having them.
correct. Because the Republicans refuse to talk about them, they refuse to put them in place because they tell everybody there's bad, and there are no Democrats talking about them there because the Democrats and Republicans got together, the corporate class has gotten together, and they said this is how we're going to divide up the country. It's all performative. This is why I say it's all performative.
Yeah.
There
Well,
is
what do
no
we do about
Democratic.
that?
Right. There's no Democratic, there's no Republican Party. It's just literally one monolithic group of the Epstein class, like basically like putting out shit, propaganda for all of us to consume. And then you have the left and the right sitting there fighting this battle of bullshit.
Yeah.
All
Well,
while, yes, Kristen, all while they're happy to take our money. Yes.
yes. Mm-hmm. I think it's and it seems like they're stepping up the corruption more and more. I mean, obviously this whole war is just for our defense contractors and for oil and for war profiteering is what it's about. That's just tell us that. Just tell us that, right? Actually, he's kind of saying it, right?
It's extracting the country for all its wealth. I mean, think about the way he talks, right? He talks about the wealth that they are accumulating, right? And when he says we are accumulating, he doesn't mean America or Americans, right?
It means
He means
them.
himself and his buddies and his
Yep.
group that's around him. And that's who's profiting. I mean, look at the profits that they're making. I mean, these guys are making money hand over fist. They're literally raiding the treasury and leaving nothing behind but the debt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Cuba, what they're doing to Cuba. Yeah, we don't talk enough about that. You don't hear anything about Cuba. And we've had an embargo around Cuba for like 3 months. We've been cutting them off for 3 months now.
Everybody in the local hospital ICU unit died. They passed away.
Was that because of the power outage last week?
Yeah, because they don't have enough.
Wow.
They don't have power, right? This administration literally doesn't care. They don't care. They bomb. So they bombed Ecuador, right?
Yeah.
And they said, we bombed a drug facility in Ecuador, right? And it turned out to be a milk farm, a dairy farm. Okay, we bombed a fucking dairy farm in Ecuador, killing everybody, right? Because these fuckers just want to bomb shit and cause terror and chaos everywhere. That's it. It's the end of the story. That's all it is. You know?
This is who we are now. This is pretty much isn't this it's the Netanyahu playbook, right? We're,
It's
we're
just
doing to
fascism.
coup.
No, it's just fascism. This is what fascism is. This is what fascism becomes. George Orwell talked about it. There've been many books written about it. Been many movies about this shit. It's not unpredictable any of this stuff. Okay? What what's crazy is that Americans are still buying it, right? Like we could sit here and talk about all this all we want. 90, there are people who just think that we're just talking out of our ass and like nobody cares. You know, people don't listen to this shit. It's like unbelievable. They don't want to hear the truth because the truth means that they did something wrong or that they have to actually take action and they don't care.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to believe that they could be a part of war crimes or crimes against humanity.
Yeah. Well, history isn't going to be too kind. Yeah, Americans. Yeah.
History is written by the winners. You know,
Good. Good point.
history is written by the winners. I mean, listen, you say that, right? But all you have to do is look at the Native Americans in this country. That's not talked about enough. You know,
True.
I mean, they were practically slaughtered.
Yes. Yes. And now I had, if you look back at the previous episodes, I had my friend Jennifer Bishop Jenkins, who's she's a history teacher and she's also a
Oh, should have
historian in
had
her
her
own
on.
right. Yeah, and
You should
she
have her on instead of me.
yeah, no, well, she pointed, we actually talked about this, and she pointed to the fact that one of the most successful genocides in history is what we did to the indigenous population here in the Americas.
Yes.
I mean, some of the estimates are well into the millions, like 10 to 15 million,
Yep.
indigenous people were lost. We have entire tribes that don't exist anymore because of what we did.
But that's the same thing with the British in Hawaii. It's the same thing. You know, I mean, everywhere. Everywhere that colonizers have been, it's just about killing people, and it hasn't stopped.
No, and we're doing it again. But
You
we're
know.
doing it on steroids now.
Well, now we just have bigger weapons.
I mean, just even in just with what's going on right now. I mean, he's threatening Greenland again. He's threatening Panama, Mexico. All this shit. This is crazy.
It's it it's not though. It's unhinged, yes, but it's not. I mean, look at the psychology of like
I
of
saw that.
if you take things down to a psychological level, okay? Kristen, who is watching us now, her daughter studies psychology, right? Was a psychology major, right? Um, she listen. This you have to take everybody individual psychological level, right? Um, it's the idea that he he's losing what he loves the best, right? He loves the notoriety. He loves the accolades. He loves people worshiping the ground he stands on. He doesn't like people saying no to him, right? He's always surrounded himself with sycophants,
Yes.
okay? And he doesn't like to lose. And anytime he's lost, right? He's walked away, right? Like there have been no consequences. He literally just he like, but I'm done. Okay, next. Right? Trump
Yeah.
University. Okay, blah blah. Next. Right? Taj Mahal. Okay, blah blah blah. Lost next. Right? I mean, every fucking thing the guy has done. So what we're seeing in Iran is absolutely 100% Trump, right? He went in, he thought it was going to be quick and easy, right? Like, I mean, you hear some of the stupid statements. I don't understand why they're attacking us. Like, I don't
I
understand why
don't
they're
understand
bombing our
what.
bases.
I don't know why they
Please,
fought back. This was
right,
supposed to be. This was supposed
right.
to be easy.
Right. Like, I mean, ridiculously stupid shit that comes out of the guy's mouth. Right? Like, he doesn't fucking get it. He thinks that he's Donald Trump and everybody should just obey and do what he says because that's the way it's been his entire life. And he cannot bear to lose.
Well,
And if he's going to lose, what he will do is what he's always done. He'll declare victory and walk away. And that's what we're seeing in Iran, right? He's declaring victory and walking away.
but he's not walking away. We're putting troops in. Apparently we're going to go after that Karg Island, allegedly.
He he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, right? He doesn't know what he's doing, right? He's
Oh,
he's 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 slowly trying to walk back so we can walk away, right? While escalating on the other side, right? So that way, if when he escalates, it fails, which it most likely will, because you have idiots in charge over there, right? Um, what will end up happening is he'll say, "Well, I always wanted to walk away. That's their fault," and he blames
oh
other
yeah, he'll
people,
throw
which
he'll
is what
throw
you're
other
seeing
people
now,
under the
right?
bus. Yeah.
Which is
He,
what he's
he-
doing now. He's throwing Rubio under the bus.
he's through
He's throwing all of them. Netanyahu.
Netanyahu
He's throwing everybody under the bus. He doesn't care.
because yeah, yeah, he's so way
Texas,
out
right?
over. Yeah, he's way out over his skis. Let me see what we got here. Oh, that just popped up on my screen. Show this. Nope, that's sorry. There we go.
Kristen, you bring up Ukraine. We won the war in Ukraine. I don't know where you were, what you're looking at right now. Trump declared victory ages ago. He declared victory last year in his first 6 months. Remember, FIFA even gave him a prize. Come on,
Ah,
come on, give me something else.
oh my God.
Like seriously, come on, Kristen.
Didn't you know we already won?
We
We
already
already
won
won.
that war. Come on.
That's so funny.
Like there's so much stupid shit and he just shows a lack of respect. So one of the things that I've talked about on the show that affects every American, all right, And Kristen's yelling again. um, one thing that I want to mention, because I do think it's important and it impacts every American, the dollar. So I've brought up the dollar, right? About a million times on this show, okay, as the reserve currency of the world. And I'm going to keep bringing it up because it is becoming increasingly important that people understand our dollar, right,
Is
is the
shrinking.
petrodollar. It is what is used, and what holds our value is the idea that you can only buy oil with the dollar. You are now seeing more and more countries moving to the yuan to buy oil. Okay,
That's
right?
Chinese currency for those who don't know.
Through Brinks, okay, which is a consortium of countries, right, who buy oil, right? It's basically the Russian exchange, right? And then you go to the Russian exchange and you buy via the yuan. So no one country has control of the currency, right? And the purchasing and sale of oil, right? Like the US does now. Okay. Japan, who is the largest holder of US debt, okay, has agreed to buy oil via the yuan. I cannot tell you how horrible that is for the US. Okay? That is absolutely terrible for the dollar. Okay? Because that means that Japan no longer has to hold its treasuries
Right.
if it's going to exchange in the yuan. It signals a shift in power in the world from the United States to China and Russia.
Yeah.
Okay? And MAGA, not MAGA, this America First bullshit is bullshit. It's exactly that. It's bullshit, right?
It's
You
China
literally,
and Russia first.
listen, this was happening. This was happening. This was slowly happening. Trump just escalated this, right? But it's literally like that that Red October episode, right? That Red October movie, right? Where the guy fires the torpedoes at Red October, the Russian sub fires at Red October, the Dallas comes, right? Winds it back, and they end up, and the torpedoes end up hitting the Russian sub, and the guy sitting there tells the commander, "You killed us." Yeah,
Yeah.
MAGA,
Yeah.
you killed us. That's what you did. It's all you did. You didn't put America first. You put everybody else but America first because you wanted everybody in America to suffer like you feel you are suffering, which is absolutely insane because you do live in America. You live in the best country in the world. You're not suffering, and yet somehow you want to pretend you are, right? If you don't like it that much, fucking leave. You are the cancer. MAGA, yes, you are the cancer.
I hear they have a lovely town in Russia where they have it set just for Americans to go and move to. They really do. It's true. I don't know the name of I don't remember the name of it, but yes. What happened to that family? That family
Oh,
that
that
went
guy
to
died.
Russia.
That guy died.
Yes, yes, yes. They went to Russia because apparently Texas was too woke. Couple and
Kristen's
their
tell,
three daughters.
Kristen's
That's
telling us to preach it. Preach it.
that's it.
Listen. Listen. Kristen. I'm gonna say, I've become really tired of catering to the feelings of the MAGA people, right? Don't who look down on intelligence.
Yes,
I'm really tired of it. I'm
I'm right
really
with you.
tired of pretending that I have to get along with these people. I don't. If you're gonna take money out of my pocket, which they did this weekend, by the way, because I bought gas 2 weeks ago and it was 2.60 a gallon, okay, and I went the other day and it was 3.55. It went up almost $1, 95 cents in 2 weeks. That's you, MAGA. That's you. Thank you very much. You took money out of my
Oh, where?
fucking pocket. You want to fucking preach to me? You give me my money back. I'm sorry. I never took money out of your pocket. Never. Never once did I take money out of your pocket. You took money out of my pocket. Pay me back.
Yeah, I'm just looking for this. See if I can find it. Nope, that wasn't it. There was a great video that was seen on, I guess Midas had it. It's been all over of a woman who oh, maybe I can find it on YouTube of a woman who they asked, how you doing? What do you think of these gas prices? And she's like, what do you think of Trump and these gas prices? And she was like, he's a piece of shit. She was, I voted for him for 3 times. I guess that makes me an idiot. I thought that I was looking for that video because it's really funny and I can't find it.
It just, it just unbelievable to me. Just really
That
unbelievable to me.
like isn't this aren't we getting a little too soon with the Star Trek timeline where we have the whole World War III and then 10 years later? I mean that's supposed to be 2063, man. We got some time to go. What the hell?
As I've said, this has all been pre-planned for a long time. This was supposed to happen like 4 years ago. I keep telling people like this is all pre-planned. Like they wrote this back when Friedman did his Friedmanomics in the what was it, in the 70s? When he did the whole trickle down economics, this is what they wanted at the end of the day. And the whole investment and the whole thing with that was voted on regarding cryptocurrencies. All right, this is exactly where, right, and you can see it's Democrats and Republicans. This is what I mean by it's all theatrical, okay, and theater, because if the United States loses its reserve currency status, okay, what then backs the dollar? Okay, how do we buy things? How do we, who are we beholden to? All these corporations have now merged. There are very few corporations you know that own everything. Very few that own
Yeah,
everything.
every
Okay,
every everything's a
so
monopoly
at the
now.
end of the day, if these corporations said, we're only going to accept from now on because the dollar's worthless, we're only going to accept Bitcoin. We're only going to accept this cryptocurrency. We're only going to accept Dodge currency, right? What does that mean? How are you going to be able to buy that? With what currency are you going to be able to buy that? If they're saying the dollar's worthless and they're not going to transact in it anymore, all of a sudden corporations own everything. Where are we as
Yeah.
individuals? What is our money worth?
Well, I think that's what's going on here, and they're accelerating it. And this is just my personal opinion here, um, because they're raiding the Treasury left and right,
Yes.
and um, and I think they know that unless they can truly rig the midterms, they're going to lose power. So what's the one thing that they can do between now and then is collapse our financial strength, raid as much as they can and leave nothing for us
But
financially.
that's what the, but that's what they're doing. And
That's
again,
what they're doing.
right, the election is irrelevant. The reason I say the election's irrelevant, like the whole say again, performative. It's all performative, right? Because if Democrats take power, they ain't impeaching Trump. They fucking aren't going to impeach the man. They're going to leave him in office, right? They're going to leave Pam Bondi where she is, right? Christy Nome was just because Democrats wouldn't fund ICE with Christy Nome as head of DHS. And look who they put in place. They put a plumber
Right, right.
with no security background, no background in policing, no background in any of this shit as DHS. And who put him there? Democrats put him there.
Oh man.
Like, I mean, there's a certain amount of ridiculousness, right, that we all have to understand, right, that both parties are involved in creating this atmosphere. And then when things collapse, they're going to say, well, we had no idea that this was going to happen. Well, you can watch my videos because I've documented everything here, right?
Right.
This is what's happening. Okay. And it's all being done. And if you noted, right, they passed the cryptocurrency laws, right? They're passing laws, right, that will enhance the billionaire class, right? And they're actively suppressing laws, right, that would protect the working class, that would protect Americans. Okay, those laws they aren't right. Again, no Epstein laws. Right, I mentioned 3 laws that would be great. They're not passing any of those. They're not passing any AI laws. They're not passing any of the laws that would actually protect Americans or their jobs. Right. In fact, you have Bill Gates out there saying, well, you know what? Nobody's going to have a job in a few years. They're
Yeah.
actively going around saying that, right? So these politicians are actively, whereas in other countries, they're going out of their way to put in place AI regulations to because they want to make sure that their people have jobs, right? That they're otherwise they're going to rise up and kill them. They know that if people can't afford to live and they can't make a living and they can't earn money, right? They end up in the street. Then you end up with a bunch of poor people, and then you end up having a lot more social services. So if your idea is to replace everybody in your society, where are the social services to protect your people?
Well, that's
But
the
they're not
whole
doing
point
that.
of no, that's the whole point of war and famine. So you see that the gas is out of control, and understand that what's happening with that whole strait, because they knew that was going to happen with the Strait of Hormuz, it kills fertilizer, right? Fertilizer that our right now our farmers are trying to grow. They need that fertilizer, and now we just have I think 40% of the world's fertilizer goes through that strait, and so that's not going anywhere. So we're gonna have a very rough growing season. All gonna have to learn how to freaking grow a garden.
Well, and you see, that's the problem. That's the problem is the fact that if you have no money, you can't buy seeds, right? You can't, like you have to. This is it's interesting how other countries are protecting their people, and America, you have politicians protecting the billionaires. They are not protecting the people, and this is Democrats and Republicans. Okay,
Well, because
start,
they're getting paid off.
right,
They're on the
and
payroll.
so you as a voter need to start looking at your politicians more objectively, and you need to do your research. And just because they're a Democrat or just because they're a Republican doesn't mean you should vote for them. Start
Right.
looking at who's running as a third party, who's running against an incumbent, right? Are they better than the person we have? Like AOC is great, Ian Omar is great, right? Kadaba Ghazali lost. That's unfortunate,
She
right?
would have been
But you
great.
still have people. She would have been great, but you still have people in your state legislature, like in Tennessee, where you have Afton Bain, right? You got a guy like Graham Plattner running in the Senate, and he could be a great voice for the working class. Hopefully he is and doesn't end up like Fetterman. Okay, and
Yeah.
the issue is there's a lot of money to be bought off. So the question is to find people with integrity, and that's the big thing. Who has integrity when they go to Washington, okay, or they go to your state legislature, or they go into local government, right, to do the right thing by the constituents as a whole. And there's very few people who run who have integrity. And that's the
Yeah.
probably the most important thing when it comes to public office is having integrity.
Yes. And you know what? If you don't have a that kind of a candidate running, maybe consider being that person that runs. Right? I've mentioned it here. You can go to what is it, runforsomething.org or .com. I don't know what it's called, run for something.
Run for something.
Somebody,
Or
Kristen,
leaders
get
need
out
this world.
there. Leaders we
or leaders
deserve.
we deserve, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Kristen, our school board member, she ran for a public spot at for school board in Pine Bush. Good for her, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't, I'm not one for somebody being lifetime. I think she did it the right way. You go in, you work a few years, you try your best, and then you walk away, and then somebody else takes over, and hopefully you get good people. I think the longer that you're in a role, the harder it is to get stuff done.
And it's
And
easy it's
sometimes new,
easy to get corrupted because you have access
right,
to so much power.
correct. I'm. Listen, trust me. I'm absolutely happy. I'm absolutely happy. I'm not in a public office anymore. Absolutely happy. I love it. It's great. Let that be somebody else's problem.
That's oh my
totally,
god.
totally happy. 8 years. 8 years of my life. 8 years of my life that I'm never getting back with that bullshit.
But
I
you were
mean,
also
getting
you had a real challenge because you were dealing with a corrupt board.
everybody,
We'll just put it that way.
but everybody has those challenges, and it's tough to get stuff done. And listen, I got some great things done in my 8 years. Okay, I had some really great accomplishments, and I'm really proud of the work that I did in 8 years in the town of Walkill. Right, and not for nothing. Right, I think I've done a lot more than most councilmen have in this town. Okay, but you know I didn't have to go around bragging about it. I didn't have to go around patting myself on the back. I didn't have to do any of that stuff, right? Because I did it all because it needed to be done. I liked helping people, and that's what I did. You know, there are people who just want credit for everything, but don't actually do anything. You know, and we saw that with our past
Yeah.
supervisor who was at like he was going to openings as if somehow he was opening the business, right? He's sitting there cutting the red tape, and celebrating the grand opening as if it was all about him.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything to get that business there. Like literally there was nothing that he did except show up for that ribbon cutting. Okay? I'm sorry, that's performative for me.
Hey, we got who else is here? Where are you from? Tell us who you are and where you're from. We see we got another few more people who have joined us, and
So Kristen makes a comment. Most people start out with integrity and wanting to do the right thing. That is true. That is absolutely
well,
100% true.
that's what I was
I do.
saying.
Yeah.
That it's easy to that people get corrupted just by being having such access to power.
Well, I think it's just not even just having access. I think it's like a lot of times you get in those positions, right? And you almost become defeated because the things that you feel that you want to do and get done, you can't get done because you have to get everybody else to vote with you. And everybody else isn't going to vote with you. So, and you see everybody else taking, right, and benefiting themselves. So, like, why are you going to be the stupid person, right, to not take, right, and not benefit yourself, right, while everybody else is doing it? Meanwhile, you're the one getting shitted on because you have better ideas. And they're running $1 million ads against your better ideas, right? Because it's easier to just to call you a socialist or a communist, right, than it is to actually address your ideas.
Mm,
Think about
yeah.
that, right? Listen, you know, I know we have Kristen here. I could have easily, after all the shit that I had been through, okay, in my time, just as easily had said, "Fuck it, I'm not going to do anything," right? When Frank got accused and all that kind of stuff happened, I could have easily just walked away and said, "You know what? Fuck it. It's not even worth fighting this shit because I was always going to lose because I was always the odd man out." Okay,
Yeah.
even though the facts were on my side, even though I had all the facts and all the details, I didn't have to do any of that stuff. I did it because it was the right thing to do. Because the right thing to do means you have integrity.
Yes.
Okay? And not for nothing, it's thankless. Having
Yeah.
integrity is just thankless. It's not like people come up to you and say, "Oh yeah, you did it. You had integrity. Great job." Nobody fucking gives a shit. Nobody cares about
No,
your
they cheer the
integrity.
villain.
You don't
Now we
get
cheer the
you don't get
villain.
any money, right? It makes you the villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
you just
that's
have to be okay with being the villain. And interestingly enough, Mamdani's done that in such a way where he's actually come out almost like the hero.
he is. Boy, we need a nation of Mamdanis with that kind of ability to inspire people and to do what he promised to do. I mean, he hit the ground running, and boy, he's driving the Republicans nuts because they just can't defeat him. He's doing a great job. Oh, wait, I got messages
She
here.
goes, and you continue to look out for the town, and even while you are out of office. Thank you, Kristen. Yes,
Yes, yes, you do.
I do live here, and like, to be honest with you, now it's just self-serving, right? Like, I'm just a taxpayer, and I'm just trying to get my taxes straight. That's it. I want my town to succeed. I want everybody, like, I want to have good roads. I understand that the value of your property is really contingent on the value of the area that you live in, right? Not only with your school district, but with your roads, with everything, right? Infrastructure. If your infrastructure is failing, nobody wants to buy into your community. If your taxes are too low and your infrastructure is failing, nobody wants to buy into your community, which means falling real estate prices, right? We've
Yes.
been good. We have real estate prices that continue to go up, but we do have failing infrastructure. We saw that guy come in, that expert come in the fall in our town and say that our roads are C grade. We have a lot of roads, right? And now we find out that George spent all our money.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's that too.
Yeah. And I thought I'd before we're gonna be wrapping up shortly. I thought I'd just
Yeah.
share this video just for the fun of it. Um, Marty sent it to me just because it's funny. Let's see, screen. Apparently, I'm an idiot. It's called. Let's see what happens here.
Harrisburg. He joins me now. And John, I understand you're sort of in a Trump supportive part of Pennsylvania, and there are a lot of those in Pennsylvania. What are you hearing about how people there are feeling about gas prices, and are they factoring that in how they view the war in Iran?
Well, first, Kelly, I would be remiss if I did not wish Kelly O'Donnell a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Right back
Oh,
at
wait
you.
a-
St. Patrick's Day.
Let me jump ahead here. Here we go.
I'm
Required to
in
be
part
in
of
green.
Pennsylvania.
Here we go.
It was a great decision. I think somebody else should have done it a couple of years ago, last 3 other presidents.
Are you willing to pay higher prices at the pump if that's the cost?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay.
Sorry,
whatever, yeah.
What do you think about the war?
Sorry, I did not review this. Marty, you sent me the entire freaking article? All I wanted was just a little piece with oh, here she is. Here she is. Okay. Finally. Oh
Who
my
we
God.
spoke with? If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
So not
Well, lots of
everyone is thrilled with
personality there,
President Trump,
John.
as you
Lots of
heard, Kelly.
personality. Yes.
Right.
That's pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny. That's what we see. That's all I wanted was that little piece. He sent me the whole article. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to put you through all that. Also, I want to continue with our feature that we've been doing in every episode where we take a look, because we've been talking about it earlier. We talked about how the dollar is shrinking. That has an impact on our national debt. And so each episode, we take a look at it. So let's see where we are today. And it just kind of ticks up day to day. So we're at 39 trillion, 7 billion. So it's been jumping about $1 to $2 billion a day.
And what are we at for individual?
It's at, yeah, I know, it's so tiny. It's $114,290 per person. And
Okay.
I
So
believe,
it went up.
yep. So let me go and stop sharing. And so
So
that's,
you could submit your $114,000 to the United States Treasury, care of Donald Trump. I'm sure he'll take good care of your money,
yeah,
and he will expect that in the next week.
yeah, to go and pay off the debt. And it's funny, you made an interesting point about the 93 billion that Keg's Breath used, which was the balance of the fiscal year, of the budget. And you could have rolled a forage, you could have done a lot of things with it. You could have taken that 93 billion and applied it to the national debt, but no, they spent it on
You
steak and crab.
You could have put it back in the Treasury, right? This idea that you need to spend money, otherwise you lose it. For the DOD, it's bullshit, right? The DOD every year has gone up in their budget. Their budget has never come down because every time you talk about reducing their budget, everybody talks that the cuts have to come with the troops, which is complete and utter bullshit. Okay? All right? We are seeing with the war in Iran, right? The fact that we are wholly unprepared for a war like this. Okay?
Yes.
That's being fought in this way, right? We did not change, right, from our Cold War mentality. Okay? So all that money that we've been spending on defense is going to garbage. Is going to contractors who've wasted our money. They're spending drone for $30,000 to $50,000 for drones that we paid $150,000 for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this needs to stop. This bullshit needs to stop. Your 30% of all the money that's given to defense contractors goes towards profit. Profit.
Yes. Yes.
That's it. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit that you can't fucking cut. Enough's enough, right? We had Doge come in, they eliminated USAID, but then they're going out and buying for $93 billion. They could have funded USAID.
Hello. But that wasn't what they wanted. Destroying USAID has a lot more to do with isolation than it does with saving money. I think because we had, it affects the dollar and it affects our, our soft power throughout the world. So this has been a coup all along. That's really what it is.
This is as I've been saying. This is a corporate private equity takeover of the United States, without a doubt. Without a doubt, I will keep saying it until the day they drag me off into one of their concentration camps.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that.
I think that's why they're building them all.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's pretty clear. With his declaration the other day of saying that the Democrats are now the greatest evil, right, next to Iran, right? How soon before our cities get bombed by America and Americans?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this guy's completely unhinged. He doesn't understand democracy, and he doesn't care to.
He doesn't like democracy. Democracy is
and neither do any of his followers. His followers don't like democracy either. His followers are the worst, right, Americans that you could possibly imagine because they hate the Constitution. Their whole thing about carrying around pocket constitutions is bullshit because they fucking hate the Constitution and they've never read it. They don't understand it. All they care about is one amendment in the Constitution, and that's it. They don't care about the others.
I don't even think they care about that one. I think they would like to see that because that's usually what they do. They disarm the opposition. They'll try to disarm people. So that'll come next. But
I do want to thank Kristen for all the messages and all the information sending to us. We do appreciate all that. Sorry we didn't get them up on the screen.
We got a lot.
You
We got
know,
a lot of
we'll
them.
get better.
She's still.
We'll get better at it moving forward. But thank you very much for participating. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. She. Oh, Trump has a yeah, on the he's on the banners are on every building at this point. It's getting really sick. I saw that back I was in DC. My husband and I were in DC back in the summer and we saw them on the buildings there. And we were there in November. They had them there too. It's pretty sick. Um, I want to remind people this Saturday is the No Kings rally. That's the National No Kings rally. Hopefully we're going to exceed what we did in No Kings 2. This will be No Kings 3. Um, here in, you can go to nokings.com and you can find, there's a search engine. You can find local rallies. Obviously, the big cities will have them too. But in this area, I know from 10 to 12 is going to be in Warwick at the Village Green. Then I think from like 12 to 2 in both Newburgh and I think Goshen in that same 1 to 3, 12 to 2 is going to be, there'll be rallies there. I believe Middletown comes later in the day, like between 3 and 5. And I understand Port Jervis has jumped on board and got a small group going. So there are definitely going to be places you can go. It's a great way. It's a great way to network, meet people, like-minded people in your community, and then there's. If we learned anything from what's going on in Minneapolis, and that's still happening, by the way, it's how they learned to organize and network with each other in order to form, in order to resist, to get food out to people. What's happening there is it's still going on, but they've coordinated to get kids to school. I mean, there's kids that are not going to school right now. They've worked to do that. They're getting food back and forth. They're getting clothing back and forth. They're helping their neighbors out with who can't get out to work, with helping to pay the rent and keep the lights on. So these rallies, even though they don't happen that often, it's a great way to go out and meet your community and get together and organize.
So, I need to make one announcement before we before we move to sign off.
I don't
Right
know.
now is petition. Right now in New York is petition season for our local candidates. Right, for everybody running for office. So your town supervisor, your councilman candidates, your state legislative candidates, Congress, right? People are out petitioning, right? Please sign their petitions. If you would like to sign a petition and have not signed a petition, please reach out to one of the candidates, or you can reach out to either me or Denise, and we will make sure that petitions get to you. I cannot go out and get signatures myself because I'm not a Democrat. But if you want to sign a petition, all right, and you are a registered Democrat or even a registered Republican, please contact one of your local politicians and so that you can sign the petition. It's really important that we get everybody on the ballot who wants to be on the ballot. And the only way to do that is to sign these petitions. So please, please, please sign your petitions, and that way you can have a choice in November as to who to vote for. The only
Yes.
way you have a choice is to sign those petitions.
Yes, absolutely. In answer to your question, Kristen, I do not believe they were deported. They may be on the list to get deported, but I don't believe so. In fact, there were closed door hearings today with people who have, to get more information. The Democrats were talking to victims of incidents that happened, and there was hearings going on, and they had witness statements, and they had a woman, I believe she's a superintendent or a principal of the schools, and she talked about about him, and I believe she talked about him as if he's still living there, because one of the questions that the congressman was asking was like, how is oh my goodness, Liam, I think his name is.
Yes.
How is he doing? And she said, he's traumatized. So as far as I know, they're still, gives me the impression that he's still here in the country.
And if you need a petition, Kristen will bring it to you directly. So let us know, or let her know, or let one of the candidates know that you want to sign their petition. They will bring a petition to you. And she asked one final question: are there going to be any politicians there? I have no idea, but I'll be there.
I know that in Warwick, this is usually coordinated by our friend Don Kilcoyne, citizen Don Kilcoyne. You can find him on Facebook. He said they're going to have speakers. So that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that's a good way to get the day started. And I imagine the groups will move to other spots in the county to support the other ones that are going around. All right. So with that, we're gonna wind up here. And first of all, we ran over, but it was a great conversation. Thanks so much for everybody who engaged with us. It helps to drive the conversation. As always, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Especially if you're new here, if you're enjoying our content, it really goes a long way to help us fight that algorithm, which absolutely hates political content. So please help us out there. We're trying to get our subscribership up, and we have more stuff coming for you. So in the meantime, we will see you soon. We have some more videos coming up. We'll be back next Tuesday night with more stuff. If you've got some topics, definitely leave us a comment. You can follow us on Facebook and reach out to me and Neil through there. It's if you got anything you want to talk about. So thanks as always, and we will see you soon. Take care, guys. Love you.